What's going on, everyone? It's Josh with 625 Media, and it's that time of the week. It's Vlog Sunday. Yes! My favorite, and apparently it's your favorite too. You're on From the Attic. And again, very, very quickly after I just welcomed you. Welcome to Vlog Sunday on From the Attic, the 625 Media blog. I, again, am Josh. Hope you had a great week. Hope you survived the heat dome? I think it's called. The feeling that I had outside, I get why it'd be called a dome, because I felt like I was constantly in a greenhouse all week. Oh my God, it was so hot and humid. So if you didn't experience that this week, you are very lucky. The weather looks like it's going to be much better next week, at least for a few days. So a little bit of relief from the heat. But we've got a lot to talk about today. But first, I want to make sure that I do the whole rundown of how you can follow us, how you can find us, how you can see what we're doing. Social media. Come on, it's 2019. Almost everybody's on social media. You can follow us 625 on Twitter at 625 Media. You can like our Facebook page. Excuse me. Wow. You can like our Facebook page. Just look for at 625. You can also follow us on Pinterest. I'll be pinning all kinds of stuff. 625 Media, and of course you can subscribe to our YouTube channel at 625 Media. I think you get the point. 625. Get that in your head. All right, and of course you can also just come to fromtheattic.blog and learn about what I'm doing to master the art of the side hustles, because I'm trying to do a lot of them. It doesn't seem like a lot, but when you think about time and how it's taking time to do all the little things, it's actually a lot of side hustles to do at one time. But I'm not going to give up. No, it's way too early to do that, and I already said I'm not giving up here. I gotta succeed. So, speaking of where I am, the progress, let's take a look at stats. Let's look at the stats. So, the blog's been up for a couple weeks now. I've really been actively doing this here since the end of June. So we've got some data to look at to see what our progress really is. So, whoosh, here we are. The progress. Here are our stats so far, and we're looking at July, because the blog's really only been up for a couple weeks. But blog page views month to date 144. Now, it doesn't seem like a lot, but let me put that in perspective. So we've got 2 weeks, a little over 2 weeks of uptime. Not a ton of content. The first website that I ever was involved with, on a professional basis. Let me get some coffee here. We didn't have that many views in the first month of existence when I started tracking data. So in 2 weeks, I've got more views than the first website that I ever operated, either mine or someone else's. So I'm feeling really good about that. I feel absolutely good about that. That's awesome. Our top refer is Facebook, which goes against everything that I've read, which makes sense, because I've got more people following what we're doing on Facebook than any other social media. Now, Twitter's a close second, but I don't know that a lot of people on Twitter are the kind of people that are going to want to do this, at least that are following what's going on here. The top post, which makes my heart very happy, was Vlog Sunday #1. It got 19 views, which doesn't seem like a lot, but again, think about it. This is a very new, very infant blog. Okay? 19 views, that's pretty good. The top page was the homepage, which makes sense. It's the landing page. If you're just going to fromtheattic.blog, that's exactly where you're going. It has 28 views. Now, the insight that you don't have here about Vlog Sunday, which I'm glad that that's the top post. It means that, this is a good idea for me. You're only watching about 5 minutes, and that's on average. So the YouTube stats kind of break it down to, how long is the average viewer watching it. And last episode was just under 30 minutes. On average, you're watching 5 minutes. So it tells me that I want to get the important stuff out of the way first. Because right now we're at like 5 minutes, 40 seconds, give or take. If it were last week, you've already stopped watching. Okay. Ad revenues. Not a surprise, because we've only got 144 views month to date. Is $0.00. Now, a lot of the ad revenues don't get paid out until you hit a certain threshold, and I probably won't report those until we get to that threshold. It's usually about $100. I think in one place I'm at 6 cents. So it could be a while before we start seeing that, but that's where the marketing comes in. That's where the awareness is. That's where you following us on social media and coming and checking out what I'm doing actually helps with the side hustle. Just need your eyeballs. T-shirt sales. So I'm going to be getting my first payment from T-shirt sales here in the next week or so. I got confirmation yesterday. So month to date, I've made $10.46. Okay, all right, I get it. I haven't made a lot of sales, and I only get a portion of those sales. I get a royalty off those sales, which I knew that going in, and I didn't expect this to be a cash cow yet. It could be, but the more content that I have there, the better chance I have of selling anything. Still a little confused why you're not buying them, though. Getting positive comments like, "Oh yeah, that's great. I like that." But maybe it's just because it's people that know me and people that just want to support me and encourage me that are saying that. So I'd really like to hear some feedback on those on the what I've put out there, just to see if maybe we can tweak that a little bit. My cash cow right now is user testing. It's something that I never thought I would get into, but I've been doing it since the end of June. So July, and this is just what has actually been paid out. $130 month to date. Now I do have a few that are pending payment, which there's some processing. They review the assessment and they accept it or reject it. I've never been rejected. The main site that I use, I have a 5-star rating, so I expect to get those as well. But overall, I've made $150, and that includes the last week of June. So nothing. It's not a small amount. We're probably not going to meet the goal of one a day, which would be a $300 revenue each month. But I feel good. That's a significant amount to be able to put towards my bills. I mean, that takes a chunk out of it. That eases a little bit of the pressure. So that part of the side hustle is working. It's very minimally, but it's working. So overall, pleased with the progress within this 2 to 3 week period. Pleased, very pleased. All right, so let's move on to what we've actually learned here. And really, we've just learned some more about some of the lessons that we had before. Scheduling needs to be more flexible. So I think my scheduling is in a good place. I haven't overscheduled myself with anything. But I haven't planned for disaster, what happened yesterday with me. Saturday is the day that I block out time for voiceover and demo recording. I have yet to get to that. Yesterday I had some issues with the blog that I had to deal with, and we'll talk about that here in a second, but it ate up my time, and I didn't want to spend all day up here. I ended up spending most of the day up here, which really, I felt bad about it because that's the whole reason I made the schedule. I didn't want to be spending all day in the attic and missing out on the rest of life. But I need to tweak it, and I need to find a better way to plan for disaster. Also, I don't know that I'm going to stay with Google Calendar. I think I'm going to move back over to Outlook. I work on my desktop anyway, so I don't necessarily need access to my mobile devices at this point in time. Maybe down the road I'll move back. I'll move it or try to sync them somehow. But I think Google Calendar, it's just not robust enough. for me to really use. Automating social media. So this is something that I really got into last week. I really tried to get going. I'm using Hootsuite for Twitter and Facebook. Okay. I mean, Facebook's my top referrer, but because I'm not paying for the service, it's really not that robust, and I don't have a lot of options on what kind of feeds that I can monitor and look at and post. For Pinterest and Instagram, I'm not using Instagram right now. I may be in the future, but there's an application called Tailwinds that even the free version is pretty robust. For someone starting out like me, I don't need a ton of pins going out every day. I don't have a ton of content to pin every day, but I can set up pin rotations, automatic repins. You join tribes, which are groups of people who are trying to, share their information, share their pins. So you share theirs, they share yours, and you get a lot more exposure. And it schedules it. Now I'm limited to a small number of tribes that I can join because I'm not paying for it. I'm limited to like 30 scheduled pins per month. So for right now, I think it works. If this actually becomes lucrative, maybe I can invest some of that into there to get a little bit more return out of it. But it's really been helpful so far. The blog, and I keep telling myself the blog is not your main focus, Josh. The blog is the vehicle for everything else. But we're still very early, so there's a lot of trial and error going on, and there's a lot of focus there just to get it to a point where, okay, now I can focus. But yesterday, I think I've just gotten a little too overzealous with what I've included as far as extras beyond the content, and it kind of broke itself. Now, I'm not doing any of the coding or design. I am doing some custom HTML here and there to insert things, but it's really, I'm letting WordPress handle that part of it. So I thought I liked the theme that I had, but I started adding things and it just broke. So I went with a more streamlined theme, a more minimal theme, and I'm really liking the way it looks. I'm liking the way it feels. So I'm going to stay with that for now. But that's something else to think about. And less is more visually. Less is more also for bells and whistles and widgets and things like that. So I got to be careful not to put myself in that trap of trying to add too much. And then we just talked about it. User hustle or user testing is my number one hustle. So that's not going away. That's really not going to go away. It's an easy $10, 20 minutes of my time. I could do that. I could do it all day, but I don't want to do that all day. I want to do these other things. I want to be creative. All right, so let's talk about the focus moving forward, and then I want to look at Google Analytics a little bit. Whoosh. You like my sound effects? Whoosh. I want to talk about the focus moving forward a little bit here because it's important for us to keep that in mind. Because we don't want to just be going, okay, I did these things, and then not have the next step to go. Because if we don't have that next step, then we're not going to make any progress anywhere. So moving forward, and I talked about this a little bit last week. Sorry, checking my phone. I want to create new ideas for content and new ways to deliver content on the blog, but I don't want to deliver more yet. I think I've got a pretty good schedule right now. Thursday, written content. Sunday, I got the video content. I may try to throw in some extra video content on like a Tuesday or something. But right now, I think that's going to be the perfect amount to balance my schedule and my workload. But I do want to do things like I want to start talking to people about their side hustles and what they've done to be successful, what they've found doesn't work, and how they learn from that, how they tweak that. I also want to start doing a little bit more technical discussion about, okay, so if I'm going to record a voiceover, I want to do A, B, and C. Or if I'm going to put together a vlog, this aspect, I need to do this, and this, and how do I do that? And how do I put it in a format that works, because I think that's also part of this. I mean, I'm sharing my experience, but I also want to share the knowledge and information that I either am learning or have already learned, because I want you to do the same thing. I want you to pursue the things that you love to do. I want you to do that. So I think we're going to be doing a little bit more of that moving forward. A lot of the information has been more like retrospective and like, I did this and I learned that I'm a better person for doing it. But let's talk a little more technical, and let's talk a little bit more. So, okay, so how can I really do it? I'm going to be doing a lot more social media interaction and marketing. I think my stats show it that, with Facebook, I'm surprised but not surprised. Facebook has, really been what has driven the traffic so far. So I'm going to double down on a lot of that and really, really use those tools. I want to also start evaluating, giving myself letter grades for each aspect of this. We talked about, where we are month to date and how good I feel about it, but I want to try to honestly assess where I am. So like scheduling, I would grade it a C so far this month. Voiceover, I get an F because I've done barely anything, not even enough to warrant any kind of progress report on it. But once we get to August, I want to take a look at the month of July and really break it down so that way we've got a gauge and we know where we might need to focus and moving forward. But that's really it for the here's where we are and here's where we're going. A couple things I want to talk about though before we go. And because we focused on stats today, now the stats that I was showing you, let's take a look at those again. So the stats I'm showing you here from the blog page, those are the built-in stats from WordPress. They're a good way to get a gauge of where I am. I love coffee. I don't know why. Like, it makes me feel good. It makes me feel good. Anyway, the blog stats here, those are from WordPress. So, and it's really good gauge. Okay, how am I really doing? Where am I? What's traffic look like? But the one thing that maybe if you have a website for your business or for your side hustle, or you just have a blog, Google Analytics is really powerful in analyzing, what your page views are, where they're coming from, what are bounce rates, what are referral rates, how many sessions are your new users, going into, your returning users. And I do have it here. Let me just get that set up here real quick. And again, I apologize because you're going to get this weird thing again. Yeah, see. I hate that. I need to look at a better solution for sharing my screen here. But so this is my Google Analytics, and I was playing around with it a little bit here. But you can really dive into user behaviors. You can create custom reports. I'm not going to go into a bunch of it, but I was looking at new visitors versus returning visitors, and I noticed that last week, and these are the stats for last week, Sunday through Saturday, I noticed that I had a lot of new users last week. So almost 78% of my users are new last week, which is good. You want new sets of eyeballs, but I've only got 8 returning visitors. So I'm not pleased with that. But that could change. Again, I've got a small viewer base and a small amount of page views right now, and I can't expect everyone to just be totally smitten with my content so far. But I can look at this, and I look at bounce rate, and bounce rate is another good indication of how engaging your content is. So bounce rate is, and we'll take a look at Google's definition because they say it pretty well. It's the percentage of single page sessions in which there was no interaction with the page. Okay, a bounce session has a duration of 0 seconds. So new users, new visitors, 82% of them had no interaction. They came to the page and they left. Or maybe they went to the blog post and left, which is okay in a way, but I'd like to see that much lower. Okay, you're going to have a bounce rate. Okay, nobody stays on your website 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. But that new visitor. I need that to be lower. I want them to be engaged. I want them to read more. So I'm gonna have to figure out how to get them more involved, more engaged. Now, pages per session. Excuse me. For new visitors. So for each time they visit, though, which doesn't really jive with this, they're looking at least 2 pages. And then my average session duration is 10 minutes. But that's all returning visitors. I imagine they're watching vlogs. So that's kind of the power of Google Analytics. And there's a lot of different things. You can look at your mobile devices, things like that. But I don't want to go too far into that because we're just going to take a bunch of time talking about Google Analytics, and we're already at the 20-minute mark. And I was telling myself this week that I was going to keep it short. I was going to do my best to keep it short, and I can't. I can't do that. I like to talk. I'm excited about this. And I want you to be excited about it, not because I want you to join me on this venture. I want to share it with people. So that brings me to the final thing I want to talk about. And it's really more of an observation. It's more of a human observation, a mental observation. But it starts at my real job. And I've been at my job a little over 4 years. Sadly, I'm getting ready to leave the department that I've put so much time and energy in. But I'm moving on to some new opportunities within the company after next week. I'm really excited about that. And on Monday when I got to work, I was up here, man. I was you couldn't bring me down. I've tried so hard to seek some new opportunities and been rejected and finally got someone to take a chance and like, hey, yeah, we want you. And it felt so good. And all that work that I've put in so far has paid off, and other people have noticed it finally. Not that nobody ever noticed before, because they did notice, just not enough to give me a new opportunity somewhere. But I was in a really good mood, and I'm still in a really good mood. I still feel really good about it. But I work with some individuals that they're very smart people. Okay, they are. I mean, if I think I'm smart and I'm getting a little too confident about my intelligence, and I'm not a dumb person. I'm not. But if I need a little ego check, just put me in a room with these people, and yeah, it's the best medicine, really, because they are smart. They're smart people. But one of them is constantly negative about everything in the world, or has some kind of comment that says, yeah, no, I know better because I'm smarter than that person, or why would that ever happen? That doesn't make any sense, because my life experience is the only life experience, which is a bad thing. I don't care how smart you are, that's a bad thing. Not being able to be empathetic to other people's situations. And we work in a customer service department, so this person works with data, so our customers are safe. Okay, yeah, I get it. I understand, because I've been in that situation where I felt like I'm so smart and my experiences are much better than anyone else's, so I know the best. I've been in that situation, and once I realized that, I have really had to put myself in check, and I really have to pay attention to that, because I can fall in that same trap too. But it starts to breed a culture of negativity. Now, this person that I'm speaking of, and I respect this person. I respect the job that they do. I've learned a lot from this person in my own experiences in my job. And it wasn't always like that. It's a continuation of that perpetuating that negative culture. And Monday, okay, Oh, okay, there. Yeah, that's typical them, huh? You can't. Whatever. I'm on cloud 17. Tuesday, I start to overhear some of these comments, and I'm in my cubicle, and I'm going, "What? What are you doing?" By Wednesday, I'm fighting the urge from standing up and telling them to shut the hell up. Thursday, I can't even sit at my desk. And by Friday, I was glad that I didn't have to sit at my desk all day, that I could keep myself busy outside of that area. Because it really was wearing on me. Now, I'm still feeling good. I was still in a good mood, and, nothing's really changed that. But my attitude towards my work and in my attitude in that area, which should be my area that I can work well. I'm just like, really? Is this how I'm going to work? And then you start to pick up on that negative seed. It starts to plant itself in your head, and you're like, and everything you hear, you that negativity starts to bleed through you, and it starts to bleed around everywhere else. The point of all of this, and I kind of touched on it with myself. I've been there. I've been that guy. You have to learn to recognize when you're doing that. You have to assess really hard. Am I being too negative? Am I being too cynical? Because if I am dragging everyone else down around me. And while that doesn't necessarily apply to what's going on here, the reason that I'm here, but that negativity can really put a strain on whatever motivation, whatever good feelings, whatever optimism you have about the activities that you're doing. Okay, for me, it's a side hustle and doing something that I love to do. Okay, I want to be creative. I like being creative. But when, your day is just full of that negativity, you get home and it's hard to motivate because all you've heard is negative all day, and it's just your thoughts and your feelings they have that glaze of negativity over them, and you're like, I like doing this, but I am emotionally exhausted. Don't be positive. Try to be positive. Try to have a glass half full kind of mentality, even if you're a glass half empty kind of person. Okay, try to have that thought. Really try to have that. And I talk about it in one of my posts where I'm talking about mind control. I called it mind control, but it's really telling your brain to shut up, telling your brain to stop telling you that you're not good enough. Okay, for a long time, I'm a cynical, pessimistic kind of person. At least I think that I am. But getting into this and realizing that, you know what, I can't care what other people think. I can't be negative about, or I can't, have doubt about my abilities. I have to trust in myself. I have to trust in my abilities, and I have to believe that I'm good enough. I have to know that I'm good enough. And I did that through positive thinking. You are good enough. You can do this. Look at what you've done so far. But if I'm constantly just, putting down the rest of society, and this person's really putting down the rest of society like all day long, I don't know. Maybe I'm just reading too much into it, which is a possibility for me because I like to do that. But be positive, not just for yourself, but for everyone else around you. Okay? Do it. Do it. That's why I have a smile on my face. Be positive. Be positive. You'll enjoy the results. You really will. That's the kind of day I'm gonna have today, I think. All right. So that's really all I got for this vlog Sunday. I want to thank again everyone for your support last week, and in advance, thank you for your support this week. Again, if you want to know what's going on anytime with 625 Media, You, of course, can always check us out on fromtheattic.blog. Yes, I have a .blog, even though everything says don't get something that's not a .com. I am bucking that trend. I am doing it .blog. You know why? Because it's a blog. But you can follow us on Twitter at 625 Media, like our Facebook page at 625. Follow me on Pinterest. You can follow me personally on Pinterest, but you can also follow 625 Media on Pinterest. And then, of course, subscribe to the YouTube channel, 625 Media. Yeah. Okay, I'm just reading it because I've got them almost all the same, except for the Facebook. I don't know why it's just 625. I think I did that. But anyway, follow us there, and you can stay up to date. Also, buy T-shirts. I like when you buy T-shirts. I think I like it when you buy T-shirts because you haven't bought any T-shirts yet. All right, that's gonna do it for us. I'll be back on Thursday with a new post, and then again next Sunday is Vlog Sunday, and it's gonna come quicker than you think. So be ready, be prepared, and be positive. And I don't know, stay out of the heat today. I'm Josh with 625 Media, and I'm out. See you later.